Good evening, everybody. Today is Sunday, March 16th, and I wanted to chat a little bit about some new endeavors that we are embarking on. Okay, so if you've been following me for a while, you'll know that last year I had a CT enterography show possible SMAS and Nutcracker syndrome, and then I had a barium swallow after that, and the barium swallow was normal, and so my doctors completely disregarded SMAS even though I have all of the symptoms and the measurements. My measurements are 21 degrees and 4 millimeters, which is well within the diagnostic criteria of SMAS, but my doctors are not willing to acknowledge it. And so then I had spoken with a doctor down in the States, and he also thought that I definitely sounded like I had MALS and SMAS, but I could not get the testing done anywhere here in my province because my doctors are unwilling to book the tests. And so I had a couple of different specialist appointments. Like I had a phone call with a vascular surgeon, and then I had a few other follow-up tests like an MRI/MRA to better look at the celiac artery and the SMA artery, which I think was done incorrectly. But basically, my health was spiraling, and I was down to like 87 pounds by the time I finally got my feeding tube placed. And since then I have been able to gain weight back, but I'm still struggling with symptoms every single day. I haven't been able to get any of my doctors to acknowledge any of the compression syndromes, even though my CT is showing them. They just are disregarding them because they are, I don't know, I don't have great distension in my stomach, I guess. I don't know if that's just because I couldn't get down all the fluid that was necessary for the test and they did it anyways, or what that's about, but I have done so much research, and there are so many people who have SMAS that do not have distension or dilation of the stomach, but they do still have SMAS. And so I've been trying to get my doctors to realize that out here. My most recent specialist appointment, I saw a different GI, and she basically just kind of wrote it off as well and was like, well, if you do have SMAS, we're kind of doing for you what they would do anyways, which is do a feeding tube. And I'm like, you don't get it. I need to have this in my file. Like, if I have it, I want it written down in my file, and I want it acknowledged. I don't want it just brushed aside and, well, maybe it's there, maybe it's not, which is also the case for Nutcracker syndrome, because that's the one that like is definitely showing on my scans, but because the symptoms of it to me aren't as prominent as my other SMAS and MALS type symptoms, they've just kind of brushed it by the wayside, and they're calling it sorry, my arms are really tired. Maybe I should prop you up so I can talk to you. So basically they're calling it Nutcracker phenomenon instead of Nutcracker syndrome, because at the time I couldn't distinguish what symptoms belonged with which compression syndrome, and since getting my feeding tube I've been able to definitely figure out which symptoms are with which compression within my body, as far as I believe anyways. And so I do have one more phone call with a different vascular surgeon who also does kidney transplants, so he kind of has a more understanding of the kidney system, so I'm hoping that maybe he'll address Nutcracker syndrome a bit more and provide me with a second opinion on compression syndromes in my province. But the issue that I'm running into is they're just not willing to acknowledge it, and that seems to be the problem across Canada, is doctors not willing to acknowledge compression syndromes, usually just because they don't have enough education about them and don't think that they're actually painful or that they cause as many problems as they actually do. And I have tried to see if maybe I could go to this doctor in the States, but he basically said it would be like the same situation as out here. I would be going to a random hospital, getting tests done by random like doctors, and the possibility of having it done incorrectly is high, just like it is out here. And so I don't want to pay the crazy amounts of money needed to have testing done in the States. And so I've been researching my other options. Of course, everybody, I think, who is researching other options outside of the country, they often stumble across this one doctor in Germany. But I'm not going to be going with that option because I've heard from so many others from support groups that they didn't have, not that they didn't have good experiences with him, but that they didn't have a good experience coming back to their home country and having their doctors take his testing seriously, because he's a professor, not an actual surgeon. And so there is an option in Spain. This is a vascular surgeon. He is able to do all of the testing himself and diagnose all of the compressions, and he's also able to do surgery for all of the compressions as well. And so I've been doing a lot of research on this option, and I think it's time that we go this route. I feel really nervous about it because it just feels very like, it just feels like a big risk having to leave your country for medical care. But also, I don't want to just brush this aside and pretend it doesn't exist, because it does. Whether or not my doctors want to acknowledge it out here, I, even for my own personal well-being, need to acknowledge it, because I've tried to let it go. Like, to just be like, no, I don't actually have them. If my doctors say I don't have them, then I don't have them. But in my medical experience, I have had to fight for every diagnosis that I have, and I wouldn't have the diagnoses that I have unless I fought for them. And conditions that I don't feel that I have, I am easily able to let go of, but I can't let go of this. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me that I have the symptoms, I have the measurements, but they're not willing to put it in my chart that I have this diagnosis. And that's just really because they don't have enough education around these conditions, and my province doesn't even have surgeons for this kind of thing. Like, they could maybe do an emergency surgery on this type of thing, but I wouldn't trust them to actually like properly handle compression syndromes. So I am working on getting my imaging, like copies, like discs or like downloadable copies of my imaging that I have had done, so that I can get this process started and figure out next steps. So Spain might be the next step for me. Okay, you guys. Sorry about the lighting. Today is Friday, March 28th, and I am doing something scary, and I have my email written up here to send to this doctor in Spain, and I'm scared of pressing send because I just know what it means, I guess. Like, to take this big leap, it will also like hopefully provide us with the answers that we need, but I also know that from like my current medical standpoint, it also means that I'm really gonna have to fight my doctors here in Canada, because I know that they don't want me to consult with anybody outside of my country about this, but they're also not willing to do anything more for me. And so I clearly have gotten to this point for a reason, and I do feel peace about it. I just also feel fear, and I am often someone who struggles with mixing up my feelings when it comes to feeling afraid of doing something but doing it anyways, just because I'm often afraid that I'm making the wrong choice, and big choices really scare me. And I'm smiling because I'm trying to like convince myself that I'm not scared. So I send it. Okay, now we wait. Good morning, you guys. Don't mind my hair, I literally just woke up, but I have such exciting news. I heard back from Spain. So, I'm in like a Facebook group that for this specific doctor, for anybody who goes to see him or has questions about seeing him, and a lot of people said that it takes months to hear back from this office, just depending on how busy they are. And it's literally just been 1 week since I sent my email, and so I'm very pumped about that. I have sent back an email just asking a couple of questions, and I'm gonna immediately work on my passport. Don't judge me. When I got married, we didn't have any plans to go anywhere, so I didn't have to renew my passport at that point, but now I do, so I need to work on that process. I'm very excited and very nervous, and thus begins the fundraising process. Okay, you guys, don't mind the mess in the background, but I'm gonna go get my passport photo done. I feel like my hair looks kind of like funky, but I'm desperate to go get it done, so it is gonna have to be good enough. So, good morning, everybody. Today is Saturday, April 12th, and I have some updates for you guys. So I don't know where I have like last left off with updating you about things regarding Spain. So in case I haven't, here's the rundown. I received word from them about an appointment date, and they needed a passport number. And so I mentioned in a previous vlog that I was needing to go and get my passport and how frustrating it was that I couldn't get like an earlier one. But I had reached out to the office in Spain, and they said that they could confirm the appointment without my passport number. So we have officially confirmed the appointment for June. So that is literally crazy. And so, yeah, things have been in the works behind the scenes. If you follow like my Instagram and stuff, you'll see that I'm having a fundraising bake sale so that we can afford to go and have this all done. So yeah, things are in the works to get bakers for the fundraiser. I'm also going to be baking some gluten-free type goods to have there. And then otherwise, we've been looking at flights and hotels and things like that. We haven't booked our flights yet because we need our passports. But we did book the hotel that we're staying at already, just so that we have something already like in place, and that means that we already have our dates in place as well. Kind of how it works so far is like you have to be pretty flexible, and so there wasn't like a set amount of time that we should allot to stay in Spain. But it looks like we're going to be staying for about 2 weeks, just to make sure that the hospital system has enough time to book me in for the testing that I need. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. It's all so nerve-wracking because I have literally never gone on like a vacation like overseas. Like I have flown overseas, but that was all organized through my school, so I didn't really have to do anything for that, and now I'm like organizing this whole thing, and it's just crazy that it's actually gonna be happening. So I'll continue to keep you updated. I will be able to go and get my passport in just under 2 weeks, and so that's gonna give me a lot of peace of mind. Hello everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 23rd, and it's about time I updated you. I'm still a ways out from going, and I'm just nervous about one of my doctors catching wind of this and trying to put a stop to it, because it's not like I'm specifically going against doctor's orders. Like, it's not like they're banning me from traveling or anything like that. But I do know that my doctors don't want me leaving the country for like medical testing purposes, because they believe that they can do it all here. but they have not been helping me here, and so that's kind of what led to pursuing Spain. Where I left off was I was going to get my passport pictures, I believe, and then I went and I filed for my passport, which was a little bit of a hassle, and then today I went and I picked up my passport, so I officially have my passport, so that feels amazing. Actually, I think where I left off was we had just booked our hotel for where we're staying when we get to Spain, and that felt so good. That made it feel like so real, and what made it feel even more real was we have booked our flights as well, so it's definitely just like, wow, this is actually happening, and that feels so crazy, because we never anticipated this happening and being able to even pursue options outside of Canada, and so we're just very excited for the opportunity to hopefully get some answers. And yeah, I also filed for Matt's passport today because he didn't have time to do it when I was applying initially, so now we're just waiting for his passport. And we also had some issues with the flight come back, so this is my first time flying with like a whole bunch of medical equipment and a wheelchair and everything like that. The only other time that I've flown was with like my school, and everything was arranged through my school, so I've never had to actually arrange travel before. Like the most that we've ever done is booked Airbnbs locally, so we've never had to fly somewhere together, and so I'm both excited and very nervous for flying with so much medical stuff. So I gotten an email today while I was out shopping with my mom, and I felt so panicky because it was basically saying that there was an issue with our tickets that we had booked and stuff. And so when I got home, I had to call the company that we're flying through basically to make sure that there were no issues, and it doesn't seem like there's any issues, so that's good, and we're hoping that it stays that way. So yeah, that's kind of where things are at right now. I bought a couple pairs of shorts while I was out because, as you know, last summer I was like a lot smaller than I am this summer, which is a beautiful thing, and I needed some new shorts that actually fit me. Lucy is intrigued by what's in your bag. What's in your bag, huh? So I'm gonna show you guys the shorts that I got. I went to Reitman's and I got this pair of shorts. In person, it's like maybe like a brick red type color, I think. Very pretty. And then I also just got this like classic linen color. I love Reitman's linen shorts. I'm actually wearing a pair right now. These are green. I don't know how to show you. See, look, green. And I love them so much. But yeah, things have been crazy and chaotic since trying to prepare to go to Spain. And my gracious sister-in-law has thankfully taken the reins on like a lot of fundraising type stuff, which we have felt so blessed by our family and friends and church family and community so far, and we're just very grateful for this opportunity. And I will continue to give you guys updates, and I will take you along on the entire journey because I want other, especially Canadians who have abdominal vascular compressions, to know their other options, especially when the Canadian system is not providing them with the help or answers that they're hoping for or seeking. So I do want to be as thorough as I can be in this series. So, and yeah, it's gonna be a series because it's gonna be a long haul. We're about a month out, so in case I haven't mentioned, our projected date is for June, and so we will be leaving end of May. And yeah, I'm gonna take you guys along on the entire process. Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, May 5th, and I haven't updated you in a while. It's been so busy. Okay, so last week I was supposed to be preparing for my upcoming bake sale, but also a work fundraiser for my work. And last week was like torture because I had my period and a cold at the same time, and then right as I got over both of those things, now I've been whammed with a UTI. So that's wonderful. So I was just waiting outside the pharmacy, waiting for them to open so that I can fill my prescription, and then I'm heading straight to the city for my IVIG and IV fluids. I'm so excited for IV fluids. I literally can feel when I need them, and it's time for them. So I'm gonna go in here and I'll catch up with you guys later. Good, I guess almost afternoon, everybody. Today is Wednesday, May 7th, and today is day 3 of 3 of city trips. Monday I was in the city for IVIG, Tuesday I was in the city for IVIG. Today we are going to go pick up Matt's passport. And why am I sitting on the floor? I'm waiting for Matt to be ready. I'm mostly ready. So that's why I'm chilling here. Last night was rough, as you know. The other day, I went to urgent care for a bladder infection, and I have not had to be on antibiotics in like a year. And back then I could still kind of like eat with them, and now like I can only eat like a bite or two of something to take with my meds. And it's been brutal. I was very nauseous last night, and I'm still nauseous. And so I'm just like, that's wonderful. I can hardly wait until I am done with these meds. But bladder infection's feeling better, so that's good. So yeah, we're also gonna pop in at one of the hospitals that I go to there to see if we can get some of my reports that I've been having a hard time tracking down. So we're gonna do that as well. Okay, so we are just parked at the hospital, and this, trying to get your medical records is so frustrating. It just takes so much effort. Like, it's either I have to come and pick up my medical records from here, which is another like 5-hour round trip, or I hope and pray that they come in the mail in time for my trip to Spain, because I really need a specific report that I've been trying to get a hold of. And yeah, it's just been a struggle. So yeah, I'm hoping that it comes in time, because we're actually going to be in another postal strike coming up, so that's really frustrating. I wish they would just stop striking, but I understand, so, or at least I'm trying to. So yeah, now we're gonna go pick up Matt's passport, and then we're gonna head back to our home city, and I'll talk to you guys later. Good evening, everybody. Today is Thursday, May 8th, and what am I thinking? Brain fog. I dropped a little clip in here. I have been trying to prepare for my bake sale that is this Saturday, and you guys, my body hasn't been behaving. Last week was so insanely busy and also just crappy because I had my period and I had a cold at the same time. So I was trying to get ready for a work fundraiser, and that was really difficult. So trying to find time last week to bake was impossible, but I managed to bake 2 batches of cookies. And then this week was insanely busy. I had IVIG Monday and Tuesday, and then yesterday Matt and I went to go pick up his passport, and so that was insanely busy. So my body needed a rest day today, and I did manage to pull myself out of bed and make some gluten-free banana cake. I need to go ice it yet, but at least that's baked. I'm hoping to bake a little bit more tomorrow before I go drop it off at my sister-in-law's house. But I'm going to close out this video here. Don't forget to give this video a like, and if you'd like to continue to follow my journey, I would love to have you, and you can do that by subscribing down below. And I will continue to keep you guys updated on this entire process, and I'm just so thankful for all of you who are following along and for all the support that I have had through my community and on here, and I'm just so thankful for every single one of you. So if you would like and you're local, you should check out my Instagram for details of where to come to my bake sale. But yeah, I post every Thursday, so I'll see you guys next week. Bye!